According to Vanguard's 2025 How America Saves report, it's the largest study of retirement accounts in existence. The median retirement balance for Americans between 55 and 64 years old is $95,642. Let's call it $96,000. Half of your generation has less than that. Now, before you decide how to feel about that number, I want you to hear something. That number does not include your home equity, does not include your Social Security benefit, it does not include cash savings, a pension, if you have one, or any asset outside of a retirement account. And here's the part that nobody in this industry who has a financial incentive will want to tell you, that many of the people retiring successfully today, sleeping at night, not running out of money, started in exactly that neighborhood. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you the 5 things that they did differently. And I'm going to tell you about a mistake that I made twice, and that I have never fully said out loud before, and quite frankly, never fully recovered from, because I think it's going to change how you see every financial decision that you make from here forward. Here are the 5 things. First, they entered retirement with 0 consumer debt. Second, they were intentional about when they claimed their Social Security benefit. One decision, and that's worth more than $100,000 over a lifetime for many people. Third, they had a skill that generated some income on their terms, not a second career, not full-time, their terms. Fourth, they treated their health as a financial asset, not some wellness goal, an actual financial asset. And fifth, they used their home equity strategically, not as an emergency last resort, but rather as a tool. We're going to walk you through every one of those. But first, I need to tell you how we got here. Because the system these people were navigating, it's not the system that your parents, my parents, retired into. And understanding that difference will change everything about what you do next. So your parents' generation, or maybe your grandparents, they retired differently than you will. Your father, he worked for a company for 30 years. A check showed up every month. When he retired, same amount every month for the rest of his life. He did not manage an investment portfolio. He did not worry about whether he would outlive his money. He didn't have to. That's called a pension. And the reason it worked was not magic. It worked because the risk sat with the employer, not with your father. Then in the 1980s, that all changed. Pensions gave way to 401k accounts. That changed? It was sold as an upgrade. Hey, guess what? You have more control, more flexibility, your money, your choices. And some of that was genuinely true. A 401k moves with you when you change jobs. A pension often required you to stay to earn the full benefit. But here's what did not make the announcement. Every risk that the pension absorbed, market risk, investment risk, and the risk of living longer than your money lasts, was transferred directly to you. And the most expensive risk at all, the one that nobody puts in the brochure, was the risk of being human when the world got scary. I told you I made a mistake twice. Here's what actually happened. During Y2K, the concern that computer systems would fail. Do you remember that? When the calendar turned to the year 2000? Well, I was afraid. It was a lot of unknown. We look back and we forget the fear and the media that was going on. I moved some of my accounts to cash. Not all of them. It wasn't a well thought out strategy. It was just, hey, look, if the world falls totally apart, I want something that actually feels safe. That's not a financial thesis. That is fear with a dollar amount attached to it. Fast forward. Then came 2008, the financial crisis, the worst market collapse since the Great Depression. I did it again. Same move. Some accounts, not everything, but the decision, it wasn't based on data. It was not based on some analysis. It was based on a feeling that I could not quite name and could not quite shake. Look, I understood finance. I've run companies. I understood markets recover. I knew that selling into a downturn was the exact wrong move, and I did it anyway. And the reason is not weakness. The fear felt completely rational in the moment. It always does. Look, that's not a character flaw. That's what fear is designed to do. And a retirement system that requires you to overwrite it all alone. Every single time the world gets scary, that was never a fair deal. Your parents' pension removed that decision entirely. There was nothing for them to move to cash. The protection was built into the structure. The 401k did not come with that protection, and most people were never told they would need to build it all by themselves. So what has this produced? That $38,000 median across all Vanguard retirement participants. That is the account balance right in the middle of the entire pool. For your generation, 55 to 64, it's $96,000. And here is the number I want you to think about just for a moment. The fastest growing bankruptcy group in the United States today is adults 65 years and older, not young people, not families in their 30s, people who had already crossed the finish line. Look, I'm not telling you that to frighten you. I'm telling you that because every single person in that statistic I just gave you, they believed they had a plan. And the difference between them and the people who are navigating retirement well is not always how much money they had. It's what they understood and what they built before the money ran out of runway. So let's talk about what they built. Number one, enter retirement with zero consumer debt. I know that sounds like really obvious advice, but look, stay with me. What most people miss is not the goal. It's the math. If your fixed monthly expenses drop by, let's call it $1,000 because you have no payments, your $96,000 account balance, it just became dramatically more powerful. Lower withdrawal rate, longer runway, less pressure on every other decision. No investment return will return that. No product that anybody sells you will deliver that. And nobody earns a commission recommending it. Move two, be intentional about Social Security timing. This is one of the most consequential decisions you're going to make in your entire financial life. And most people just make it by default. If you claim at 62, which is the earliest possible age, your monthly benefit is permanently reduced. If you wait until 70, the latest age, that earns delayed credits. Your monthly benefit is significantly higher. For many people in this audience, that timing decision is worth more than $100,000 in total lifetime income. That's not a rounding error. That's a retirement that works. Move number three, build a skill-based income source. Now, what do I mean by that? Look, not a second career, not a 40-hour week. I get that. But a skill you already have that solves a real problem for real people on your schedule. Think about, let's call it $1,200 a month from a skill-based source does to a $96,000 account. It reduces the withdrawal rate, it extends the runway by years, and it keeps you engaged in a way that also protects your health. That leads directly to move number four. Treat your health as a financial asset, not some wellness goal, a line item. A body that functions well past 75 reduces your healthcare costs, extends your income generating years if you choose, and lowers the caregiving burden on the people that you love the most. Healthspan is not separate from your retirement plan. It is one of the most valuable parts of your retirement plan. Move 5. Use your home equity strategically, thoughtfully. Downsizing is not giving something up. Downsizing is converting an illiquid asset into the most flexible resource in your entire retirement picture. The equity in your home, redirected intentionally, can fund years of retirement income, eliminate a mortgage payment, and reduce property taxes, insurance, maintenance costs that quietly drain those on fixed incomes. Those 5 moves: no consumer debt, Social Security timing, skill-based income health span, and strategic downsizing, are available to almost everyone watching this video. None of them require a perfect account balance. None of them require starting all over again. They just require clarity. So let's come back to where we started. $96,000. I want you to notice how that number feels now compared to how it felt in the first 60 seconds into this video, because that number, it hasn't changed. What changed is the picture around it. The people who are 5 years from retirement and navigating it well, most of them did not have a dramatically different number. They had a dramatically different picture. They knew what their Social Security timing would produce. They had a plan for consumer debt. They had a skill that paid them on their own terms, and they treated their health like a balance sheet item. And they knew what their home equity could do, and they stopped waiting for the account balance to feel like enough before they went ahead and made a move. The system changed in the 1980s, and the risk landed on you. It was not your fault. But here is what is entirely in your control right now. Understanding every asset you actually have, and that list, it's a lot longer than your account balance. Look, in our next video, we'll go deeper on every asset in that picture, including one that almost never appears in any retirement planning conversation, and that most people in this audience are significantly undervaluing right now. But before you go, I've built something to help you see your full retirement picture, not just your account balance, the whole picture. It's called the Brain Flash Retirement Reality Check. It's free. Drop your email over at brainflash.com and it comes straight to your inbox free of charge. I'll see you in the next one.